Good morning to all of you. I suggest that we start. My name is Jean-Christophe Gariel. I work at IRSN, which is the French Institute for Radiation Protection and Nuclear Safety, and I am the coordinator of the Pianoforte Partnership. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to this webinar, which is dedicated to the presentation of the first Pianoforte open call. The purpose of this meeting is to provide you with all the necessary information, allowing you to submit in the best conditions projects to this call. This morning will be organized in two parts. In the first part, Jolanta Drodz from NCBR will provide you with general information on this call. NCBR is responsible of work package 7 of Pianoforte, which is dedicated to the organization of the call and of the evaluation of the submitted project. NCBR is a Polish funding agency. Then this presentation will be followed by a two voices presentation by my colleagues of IRSN, Marine Bertin and Yann Bernard. They will present the legal, administrative and financial aspect of this call. Following this presentation, we will give you the floor so that you can ask any question that these presentations may have raised. So just before I give the floor to Jolanta, I would like to indicate you that this webinar will be recorded and that it will be available on the Pianoforte website. So let's start the first presentation. Jolanta, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. First of all, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Oh? Yes, great. So thank you once again. Actually, Jean-Christophe, you took all my welcome words by presenting myself, so I can only confirm. Yes, and I would like to welcome all of your dear participants from the WP7 work package side. As Jean-Christophe said, we are responsible for the organization and management of the Pianoforte open calls. And today I have a pleasure to present you the general information on the first of these calls, the Pianoforte Open Call 2023. If I may, because I cannot see the presentation. Is it okay? Is it visible? Yes, great.
Yes.
So I will try to be brief. We may go to the next slide. Please.
Yann.
Okay. I cannot move my slides myself, so really sorry. First of all, a few words about what I'm going to talk about today. So the rules and where to find it, the timeline, the topics, a bit about application procedure, then evaluation and selection of the projects. At the end, the short summary and a bunch of useful information and something which is a bit new. So funding agencies requirements concept. This is new to the previous call for those of you who knew the concert calls, but hopefully it will catch on and will be very useful for the next call.
Please, can you mute? Please, can you mute? Please, can you mute? Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jolanta.
Okay, no problem. May I ask for the next slide, please? Yes. So I would say that's the crucial of the information. So where to find it? There is, I'm sure, the very familiar Pianoforte webpage. On the webpage is the special place dedicated to the open call 2023. There you may find all the documents. The utmost important one is the call text with all the information which will be presented today. Also, the guidelines for applicants are useful with the information, maybe not so very detailed, but please check if you want to submit the proposal. All the information on the web page is the current one. So if there will be, we do not expect, but if there will be any updates, as you know, the submission system is still to be opened. So, and all the information and any updates regarding the call will be found on the Pianoforte website. Next slide, please. Okay, so where we are, so the call was launched on the 24th of April. Now is the application time. Although the submission system is still to be open, it is still feasible to prepare the proposal. Among the call documentation is an auxiliary application form. Based on that is prepared the system, and all the information which is currently visible in this application form will be then to be uploaded or to fill into the submission system. One of the most important dates is the 12th of July, because at 3 p.m. Central European time, summer time, the submission system will close. So after that deadline, there will be not possible to submit the proposal. So the 12th of July, very crucial date. After the application, we will evaluate. So the external experts, international experts will evaluate the proposals, the submitted proposals. The decisions will be made. So first of all, the ranking list, and then the decision on the projects to be funded will be made. It is expected that the projects will start end of this year, beginning the next year. The next slide, please. The topics. I would say that great majority of the participants is familiar with the topics. They are available already and have been since January this year. All the details, there are three main topics. All the details, descriptions like aims and challenges, scopes and expected impacts are given in the core text. So please check this part of the core text. This is at the very beginning. Also, there you may find the recommendations, because next to this main topics, the applicants are asked to also consider this aspects or recommendation like stakeholders, education, training, quality and assurance. Open access is very important according to current work program. Social sciences and humanities, communication, and also the links with international initiatives. If I may ask for the next slide, please. Yes, so the general criteria. we may say that this general criteria is like the eligibility criteria. So please have a close look to this. So the utmost important is the submission of the joint proposal in English, only through the online submission system. The date, once again, until 12th of July this year, 3 p.m. Please respect also the appropriate format and limits. For example, in the CV, in the CV template, it's all given. In the submission system, there are limits for the characters. Please really respect that. Crucial one is the composition consortium, because the project has to be conducted by eligible consortium. The consortium should consist at least of 3 independent legal entities from at least 3 different EU member states or Euratom program associated countries. And additionally to this consortium should be at least 1 external entity, so not Pianoforte beneficiary or affiliated entity. The projects cannot exceed 48 months, which are 4 years, so quite a long distance, quite a long time. But nevertheless, the projects are expected not to exceed that or the duration of Pianoforte. The last point, and this will be also like sticked in the system, is the funding cannot be granted to the any entity which is subject to EU financial administrative sanctions or is in an exclusion situation. This, although the call is open to participants from all over the world, these parties, these entities I mentioned, are excluded from participation. Next slide, please. And now a bit more about this eligible organization. So in the Annex A, there is a list of the beneficiaries of Pianoforte current consortium. There is also to find a list of affiliated entities. In the project, it is recommended to take part by the third parties. And here is the list what kind of institution could be in particular. And eligible means actually eligible for the EU funding. So these are higher education establishments like research-oriented radiation protection institutions, clinical public health sector organizations, or enterprises of all sizes. This all is listed also in the call text, but also in the Annex A, you will find that also new participants could be integrated through the open call, but more on that will be explained by the colleagues from EURESN. What is quite crucial and also new to the previous calls. This is the gender equality plan according to new EC rules and also the Euratom work program. The public bodies, research organizations, and higher education establishments are required to introduce in the organization this gender equality plan. So maybe more information is also to find in the call text, but the main source is the Euratom research and training program. Next slides, please. a bit, excuse me for a while. Sorry, really sorry, I'm back. A bit more about consortium composition. So even the description of the consortium indicates that the projects needs to be transnational to be funded. I described these three legal entities from the EU member states, or Euratom program, and independent. Also about this external entity I mentioned. Also, the number of the participants should be appropriate. So from maybe not from our experience, but what there might be challenge, maybe not in the minimum consortium to reach the minimum consortium, but maybe not to have two big consortia to conduct the projects. Next slide, please. Too far, I think. One back. Yeah, great. Each project consortium should nominate project coordinator, which is obvious. It's recommended, mainly from administrative reasons, to choose the coordinator from the beneficiary organization or affiliated entity, but it's also possible to have a project coordinator from the associated partners organization. Each project partner, and this is also required by the application form. So each project partner will nominate the principal investigator, and each principal investigator, which we may submit only one proposal as project coordinator, which is actually quite understandable. It's quite a challenge to coordinate too many projects, so that's why this limitation. So the project coordinator can submit only one project proposal, and this will be also thinked in the system, in the application. Next one, please. Next slide. Thank you. These numbers are also known from the General Assembly, and that the total budget for the call is 30 million euros. The recommended projects should amount from 1 million to 1.5 million euros. And what's important also, if the consortium participates an associated partners organization, its budget also counts to the total costs. Next slide, please. Yes, after we receive the proposals, there will start the evaluation process. First of all, there will be eligibility check. Generally, as I said, these are general criteria. The eligibility check criteria is also mentioned in the call text. Afterwards, will be evaluation on merit. Here, given only the main titles, let's say, of the criteria, like it will be checked on excellence, impact, quality, and efficiency, and the efficiency of the implementation. These all criteria are taken from the Euratom work program and should be applied for the co-funded partnerships. The evaluation on merit will also actually consists of two steps. First of all, there will be the written evaluation. Each proposal will be evaluated by 3 independent and international experts with no conflict of interests. Afterwards, they will meet during peer review panel, and the final scores for each proposal will be established. There will be applied 2 thresholds, one for the criterion, so like to have well-balanced and good proposals. The criterion will, the threshold for the criterion will be 3 points out of 5, because the maximum is 5 points for each criterion, and the overall sum for the project should be minimum 10 points to be eligible for funding. The whole process, the whole evaluation process will be overseen by an independent observer who will then write a report. During the panel will be established the ranking list, one for all 3 topics. However, the 3 first places will be secured for the best projects out of each topic, and afterwards the Pianoforte coordination will approve the final ranking list and final projects to be funded. It's intended to fund from circa 8 to 10 projects, but it's all up to the asked budget. What is new? It's also the redress procedure. So the applicants may appeal against the decisions. However, they must not challenge the evaluation. But for example, if they see any let's say flaws in the procedure itself. Yes, so no challenges on judgments on the evaluation or eligibility check, but only the procedures. Next slide, please. Okay, so we are almost finishing. So what's the crucial information? So only the proposals, only in English and only in the submission system, submitted before 12th of July or on the 12th of July until 3 p.m. Brussels local time. But like live shows and experience shows, like the last hours are very critical, so it's better to submit a bit earlier. Please respect the formats and limits. Please respect the consortium composition. Here is given the minimum, but please also try not to challenge the consortium composition in too high numbers as well. Project start, so the project should start between December and January. December this year and January next year. Duration of the projects should not exceed 4 years, or the Pianoforte duration. Total budgets for projects between 1 and 1.5 million euro. All the information and question, please direct to the co-secretariat. He is given the email address. Also, this address is available in the call text, in the guidelines for applicants, but also on the webpage, Pianoforte webpage. The contact person is Mr. Tomasz Kalita. He is visible right now. Also, he will answer all the questions. For financial matters, we have also direct contact. The email is visible. And as I said from the beginning, all the information and if any, also the updates will be available on the Pianoforte website, so please check it. And almost final slide, if I may ask for it. Yes, this is a bit something new, funding agencies and institutions requirements, because this will be addressed by colleagues from IRSN, but actually none of the participants may receive 100% of grants. That is why the funding, or maybe also we may have project partners outside EC. Then they may ask from addition, so they have to secure own funding. In the concert call, there was no place like to present the requirements from the funding agencies who would like to fund this remaining part, yes, to the costs, or maybe also 100% of the costs of the participants who are not eligible to get EC funding. So we created a place, like we created a national requirements template, and also there will be a space on the Pianoforte website for such funding agencies or funding institutions who would like to share this information. For now, we have none, so we have no funding institution presenting their national or regional requirements, but maybe this will encourage them for the next call. For more information, please contact the call secretariat if there are any funding institutions or agencies among the participants, so we will be happy to advise on that more. And the final slide, please. Thank you very much. That's all from my side. Here again, our names and the contact to the call secretariat. If there are any questions on the general procedures, please contact us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jolanta, for your presentation. I see that there are already many questions in the chat. I started to answer, but we will have the opportunity to discuss about this point later. So now I suggest that we move to the second presentation. That's a two-voice presentation from IRSN about legal, administrative, and financial aspect of this call. So I think, Marine, the floor is yours.
So can you hear me and see my screen?
We can see your screen and we can hear you, Marine.
We are going, Viviane, to present some points regarding legal, administrative, and financial information. So the first point is about what is a participant, who can participate in the frame of an open call. So the term participant is defined in the grant agreement, and you can be a participant if you are an entity which is a beneficiary, an affiliated entity, an associated partner, a third party giving in-kind contribution, a subcontractor, or a recipient of financial support to third parties. All the definitions of those participants are in the call text. You need to be in one of these categories to be able to participate. Participants can be entities which are already considered as participants because they are mentioned in the grant agreement. Those entities are listed in Appendix A1 of the call text. But if you are not in this list, you can still apply and you will be considered as a new participant. But you still need, as I said before, to be in one of the statutes mentioned before. I just want to make a quick warning regarding the status of affiliated entities. to be able to be considered as an affiliated entities, you need to transmit to the code secretariat of Pianoforte. We would transfer them the document to ERSN, and then we would transfer them to the EC. All the documents to show that there is a legal link between the beneficiary and the affiliated entities. You need to prove the status. It can be a collaboration agreement, some kind of MOU, but at the end, the decision is taken by the European Commission. There, you can send documents in your any language, I think. The EC will translate the document, but you need to prove the status. And this is really important because if you want to be able to be considered as an affiliated entities, and because financement rules are not the same for affiliated entities and third parties. We are going to talk about this later on, but you cannot declare the same cost. So if your status of affiliated is rejected by the EC, there will be financial consequence for you. So if you want to be considered as an affiliated entity, you need to start working on the document. So next point is about the Pianoforte funding agreement. The coordinator of a project will sign with ERSN a funding agreement. This funding agreement is mandatory. It is not negotiable. And it will state all your obligation when you are receiving funds, which is all, I think. And yes, this is important. The funding agreement will be signed between ERSN and the coordinator of each project, but beneficiaries participating in the project, beneficiaries not participating themselves, but which have an affiliated entities or recipients of financial support participating in the project, will need to sign an accession form. In fact, there will be an accession form which is negotiated between all the current participants of Pianoforte. Then, which we can present you a brief summary of the funding rules. This is important because entities which cannot be financed are associated partners, participants from non-European countries, except some associated countries like Ukraine. All of these aspects are in the context, and then entities under sanction by the European Union. If you are under sanction, you cannot be financed by Pianoforte. Then, and I think it was already briefly taught by Yolanta, Pianoforte, except for some participants like recipient of financial support for party, Pianoforte will only reimburse 63% of the eligible cost. For the 37% remaining, Pianoforte cannot do anything. You have to secure this financement. It can be on your own funds, or you can ask a financement from a funding agency or whatever. Pianoforte will only reimburse 63%. And all the details regarding the funding rule and the eligible costs are in Appendix B and C of the code text. We also wanted to do a little focus on recipient of financial support for parties. This is really important. You have a ceiling. You can only be funds to 300,000 euros when you have a PhD, or 100,000 euros for any other activity. And be careful, because this ceiling is a global ceiling for all the calls organized in the frame of Pianoforte. So if you already received the maximum amount for the first call, you will not be able to be funded in the second or third calls. And then the next slide is for Jan.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I propose to address some issues regarding cost eligibility. Regarding the cost eligibility, this cost must be, of course, used for the sole purpose of achieving the objective of the project, of the action. They are related to the duration of the action. They must be indicated in the estimated budget and comply with the applicable national law on taxes, labor, and social security. This cost must be identifiable and verifiable, in particular recorded in the participants' accounts in accordance with the accounting standards applicable in the country where the participant is established and with the participant's usual cost accounting practices. This cost must be reasonable, justified, and must comply with the principle of sound financial management, in particular regarding economy and efficiency. More information will be provided to the participants of the open call when the system will be open to fill in the estimated eligible cost for budget. And with my colleague Marine in charge of legal issues and Firoza and myself in charge of financial and administrative aspects, we are at your disposal for any information you may wish. Do not hesitate to ask a question on the email, and do not hesitate also to contact your national contact points. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Marine and Jan. Thank you, Jolanta, for your presentation. So, as you have seen, we got a general presentation about the first Pianoforte open call. I suggest that now we move on to the question and answer session. So we have a first question by Sandron. Can you ask your question? No, it was removed.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Spiros Andronopoulos.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, I have some questions here. First of all, in the Pianoforte, in the main Pianoforte project, the management costs are funded to 100% in work package 1. Is it the same for the projects that will be funded in the open call? The management costs will be covered by 100%?
No, the total cost of the project will be funded at 63%.
Yes.
To my mind, it's up to the consortium to decide how they want to manage management cost and scientific cost. Okay, it's up to the consortium to decide. To my mind, and that's a personal opinion, we will have small project with small management issues. The idea of Pianoforte first call is to have a small project dedicated to science and to avoid over expenses. That was the idea that the consortium has in mind when organizing this first call.
Okay. We have two organizations. Let's say we have one organization from an EU country, let's say Denmark, that is not related to any of the partners of beneficiaries of Pianoforte. It's not an associated entity or an affiliated entity or associated partner. And we have a partner from Ukraine, also not connected in any way to any other partner. and we want them to have them in a proposal. What will be their? It's not very clear to me what will be their status as partners and how they will be funded. The types of partners that is described, it's not very clear to me. Can you tell me what will be their status in the so that they can be funded through the open call?
I think, but I'm going to transmit the question to Marine. I think in their case they should be a third party. Marine, can you confirm that?
I think they will.
Sorry, but may I ask to all participants to mute to mute their microphone? Okay, Marine.
So yes, there would be third parties, and it would depend if your partner is giving in-kind contribution or if it is a recipient of financial support. I don't know exactly what are the terms of their participation, but I think there will be in one of these categories: third parties giving in-kind contribution or recipient of financial support to third parties. But if they want to be financed, I think they need to be a recipient of financial support to third parties. And in this case, there is a saving mentioned before.
Third parties giving in-kind contributions means that they will be financed by 63% and the rest will be their in-kind contribution, isn't it correct? Sorry?
So?
I didn't hear the response.
Yann,
yes, it's correct. It's correct.
Correct. So
if this is an in-kind contribution, it means that it will be paid for 63%, and the other is free. Is
in-kind contribution.
In-kind contribution, yes. Mm.
Oh, okay, I understand. And I saw that the cost of Norwegian partners would be included in the total cost. This is also, I suppose, for UK partners also.
Yes. Correct.
Yes,
correct.
But if this is the case, then this would be this would decrease the funding of the rest of the participants. If their cost is within the 1.5 million limit, then the funding of the other participants will be limited by them. So it is not it's not encouraging. It is contrary to having partners from Norway or UK.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a fair rules because we need to compare project among us between other. So we have a limit of funding. And in some cases, you have funding from the Commission. In other cases, you have associated partners that bring their own budget, and we have a total limit of 1.5 million.
Including
associated partners' budget. Yes. Mm.
Okay.
That was a decision by the consortium, and by the executive board of Pianoforte.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I don't want to monopolize the discussion. My last question is, we are encouraged to use the Pianoforte structures, for instance, for stakeholder boards or for education and training, for quality assurance. In practice, how will this be realized? We have to contact the work package leaders and discuss with them in what mode we can do that.
Yes, correct. So I think it's important to have a connection with the transverse activities of Pianoforte. You mean what is? I mean what is done in other work packages, work package 4 or 5, for example. So the best way is to contact work package leaders. To see how it's possible to establish a bridge between what is done in their work package and what will be done in your own project.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Wolfgang.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question about these affiliated entities. So KIT was supposed to become an affiliated entity during or in the beginning of the project, or when the project was submitted, but then the decision was made that only those organizations who participate in the beginning to the project should be affiliated entities. But KIT should become an affiliated entity once they are successful in a project. So my question, should we apply as an affiliated entity or apply as a third party? Because at the moment we are still third party.
Okay, under the control of my colleagues, I would say that when you apply, you just, if you think that you are an affiliated entity, probably you have a document that prove, and you just have to add in your response, call response, the document that indicates that you are an affiliated entity. So you just join that to your file that you will submit to the system. Yolanda, am I correct?
Actually, in Annex B, I think it's described that it's better to like the document stating the affiliation should be transmitted to the call secretariat. Is it not said when, but because the European Commission may accept or decline, yes? So to our understanding, it would be even better to send it in advance, because there we have no specified when it should be. Because why during application it might be even too late, and might prolong the evaluation process. But it's also feasible. Yes, it's also possible or during the application phase. But it's said that the documents should be transmitted or should be sent or should be submitted to the call secretariat. We will then transmit it to the IRSN, to the coordinator, which then will contact the EC, and the EC will give the final answer of the affiliation, or we decline it. We cannot like foresee what will be the answer.
Okay, so I will liaise with my beneficiary, and then we will submit the relevant documents to you, and then we will see further. Okay.
Yes, I would recommend so. Yes, it is not specified. So, but okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Yingma.
Thank you. My question is that in a consortium, the coordinator, will it have a separate position for its local coordinator?
I'm not sure that I understand the question. What do you mean?
So if a coordinator of a consortium organize this proposal, and then later when it gets funded, will it have a separate position for the coordinator, or it will be its own freedom to allocate how much funding it gets within itself to distribute among the colleagues?
So I leave Yolanda or Jan, but my feeling, but you will correct me if I am wrong, you have to submit a budget where you allocate funding to the coordinator and also to you and also to all your partners. Okay? So is that when you will submit your project that you need to have a clear budget. You are not going to apply for, let's say, 1 million euro for the coordinator, and then he's free to do whatever he wants. It needs to be clear when you submit your project that all partners will have a given budget, and there will be a table for that in the application form. Correct, Yolanda and Jan?
So I would say yes, because they're given cost categories in the annexes, which may be funded during the project. And I would say that, Jean-Christophe, you said that also at the very beginning that actually the merit of the project is crucial, not the coordination itself. Yes. And how the coordination is allocated, it's up to each project. But the coordination, it's not funded, I would say. These are personal costs. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. My second question is that can you elaborate it a bit? What does it mean by the steering committee? Is that means executive board? Because a partner, it says the partner is not a member of the Pianoforte core steering committee or evaluation partner, a panel. I don't know what is steering committee.
Core steering committee. But may I ask, where is this information from which part?
It's from the funding cortex, I think. The requirements for like partners should or should not be into which category.
Oh yes, yes. These are in annexes. I think. Yes, but you know the core steering committee, it's the part of WP7, and that's why this is written that we as the partners responsible for the evaluation and for the management of the open calls, we cannot participate and ask for money, as like our agencies cannot. So, for example, NCBR cannot participate and ask as a participant. We are also the funding agency, so this is not possible even. But this is just the rule to be sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Fieke Dekkers.
Good morning. Thanks for all the information. I'm not sure I completely get the differences in status between an affiliated entity and a general third party. Clearly, it's different from Concert, but I'm not quite sure what the differences are in the financial requirements. So can you tell me what these are, or where I can find a clear description, preferably for someone who's used to the Concert setting?
The difference between a third party and an affiliated entity. An affiliated entity have a legal link with its beneficiary. A third party does not have this legal link.
That I know, but what are the consequences for financing in a call?
As I said before, if you are a third party's recipient of financial support to third parties, you will only receive 300,000 euros or 100,000 euros.
Okay.
And if you are an affiliated entities, you do not have this ceiling.
Okay, so the difference is the ceiling.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
but
thanks.
I think we need to check. I don't remember who asked the question. We will check a little bit more the differences between third parties giving impact contribution and recipient of financial support to third parties regarding these ceilings. And we will put the answers in the Pianoforte website. We will try to do some question answers in the Pianoforte website to answer all the questions that have been submitted today, to be clear, if it's okay for everyone. But
Okay, thanks. Yes.
And it is for this that you need to work on the document to prove the legal statute, the legal link, because as said by Yolanta, we will send to the EC all the document so they can check and approve the status of affiliated entities. But if this status is rejected, you will only be able to be financed at 300,000 euros or 100,000 euros. So you need to be able to prove your status.
Okay, thanks. And just to be absolutely sure, the budget that I refer to here is like the 1 to 1.5 million per project. That's the combination of the co-fund and the EC contribution, isn't it? So it's a total of the co-fund plus
Correct.
EC. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Thanks.
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That answers my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Igor Belyaev.
So my question is about possibility to search partners for consortium, and the question is, does the Pianoforte have any active system which would allow searching for partners in order to create consortium?
Okay, that's a very good question. So starting this morning, there is a discussion forum on LinkedIn on Pianoforte. So that's a first mean to try to search for partners. Then I think Marie could complete that, Marie Davidkova, probably on our website or connected to the website. We could implement something in order to give you the opportunity to meet people and to be able to find partners. Marie, can you say a few words about that?
Yeah, probably we can open some form to apply that you are searching for partners and to make a list of interested institutions with contact and the topic that you would the topic of your research that you are interested in.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the second question is, as far as we understood, 37% of cost should be covered by the partners. And the question is, if month cost for participants can constitute those 37% or not. I'm talking about the salary for participants, researchers, which will be involved in this project.
Jan, do you have any?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure to understand the question. You mean the part of the? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I'm talking about the cost of work. If we have some persons involved in activities, researchers which belong to our organization, and of course they have some salary, and if that part of salary which is directly involved in performance of the project can constitute those 37% or not.
Yes, I think so. You will have to declare it within the frame of the project, and you will be reimbursed for 63% of the global payment. So it should be okay, I think. If I understand correctly the question. Maybe you can ask your question on the chat, and we will answer in the Q&A document.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Gabrielle?
Yes, thank you. I have a short question related to third parties or later affiliated entities. Is it possible for them to act also as project coordinator?
All participants can be, you can be the coordinator of a project if you are a beneficiary, an affiliated entity, or an associated partner. If I mean, Yolanta, you agree?
Yes, totally agree.
It would be easier if the coordinator is a beneficiary of an affiliated entity, but what associated partner can also be coordinator. We check this point with the EC.
Yes, mainly for administrative reasons. Yes, because the coordinator will distribute the funds, will sign the contract, etc. So it's mainly because of these reasons.
The coordinator will not distribute the funds. Each member of the project are going to be paid directly. But he is signing the funding agreement.
Okay. So, Jonan Narhala.
Okay, thank you very much. About the third parties, at least here in Finland, this own funding of third parties should be secured by themselves. So am I right that there is some kind of form in the web pages where they can like promise that or to fill in that they will secure that part of the funding by themselves? Did I get that right? Or
Jolanta or Marine?
So there is no form for that. It's up to the organization, but it's just the statement that the funding are secured, not covered by the Pianoforte. The funding not covered by Pianoforte. No, sorry. Once again, I was to focus on funding, because this is not funding. Like to fund the projects, there will be the funding and the remaining part. Yes, so the third party is acknowledges that there will be not 100% funding, and they have their own funds, or maybe they get funding from the funding institutions to cover that remaining part. Sorry.
Okay, so it was so that I was thinking. Okay, yes. Great. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Zeliska.
Thank you. Again, one question concerning affiliated entities. Can you please clarify exactly which documents are needed to be submitted to the call secretariat to prove the status of affiliated entity? This is the first question, and I have two more.
Yes. So, Marine, do you want to, or Jolanta, do you want to say a few words?
I can say that there is no list of the EC. In fact, I cannot give you like a precise answer because there is no one. You need, I'm sorry, really, but you need to send a document. It can be a collaboration agreement. It can be, I don't know, a document stating that there is that you own a part of the affiliated entities, things like this, to show that there is a legal link between you and the beneficiary. In fact, the Commission is accepting a lot of documents. I don't know if you participate in H2020 or in FP7, because the affiliated entities are in fact linked third parties in the previous project. So you just need to show legal link. For example, ERSN in other projects use MOU, a little bit more elaborate, but yes, it was a mix between MOU and collaboration agreement.
So collaboration agreement between the beneficiary and the potential affiliated entity is sufficient. Yes. Let's say it's probably sufficient document. And is there any restrictions in the date when this this collaboration agreement is signed?
It needs to be signed before, when you are submitted us the document. It needs to be signed. In fact, to show that there is a legal link, we need to have an executed document. So you need to have something signed when you send it to us before.
Okay, before, but not before, let's say, this Pianoforte started. We can sign it also now if we don't have it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
To give a little bit more information, ERSN will send all the documents to the EC. We will decide if the entities are affiliated entities or not, and if they are, after the end of the first call, when all the projects will have been selected, we will sign an amendment to the grant agreement of the Pianoforte grant agreement to modify the technical part to include all the new projects and modify the list of affiliated entities and, if necessary, of associated partners. So we will add the new partners.
Okay, great.
The
Thank you very much.
We'll say.
This clarifies. And the second question for this co-funding, is it acceptable co-funding in terms of person-month contribution?
Yes. You mean in-kind contribution?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's acceptable. Yeah.
Okay. And the third question, which was also put it in the chat, in case of funded projects, does the EU support is sent to the coordinator and then the coordinator distributed among the partners, or it's sent to the beneficiaries and then beneficiaries or send it to the partners?
The second one, ERSN will pay the coordinator of the project, and then the coordinator. No, I'm sorry.
No.
ERSN will pay each beneficiary, and each beneficiary are in charge of paying their affiliated entities, third parties, subcontractors, and everything. Yes, this is a good slide to show you.
Yes, this is a very simple slide which explains the financial flow from the EC to the affiliated entities and other third parties. So like Marine said, the money will be transferred to IRSN as the Pianoforte coordinator, and then IRSN will transfer the money to the beneficiaries who will pay the affiliated entities and other third parties.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Dmitry?
Question about third parties, non-EU third parties and budget. Let's say we have a situation where we have this 3+1 consortium, and in the proposal we want to add third party, which is non-EU, let's say from Canada, and they're not asking for money from Pianoforte. Question number one, do they have to provide an estimate of their work in the proposal?
Yes.
Okay. And question number two, does it become part of the budget, total budget of the project?
That's a good question.
Yes. It is part of the budget of the project. However, I need to say that we are currently checking with the EC. We think it is possible, but we need to check with the EC if international partners can participate, even if they are not receiving funds. We just need to check these points, and the answer will be on the Pianoforte website.
Okay, so you're saying that it's not clear as of now whether non-EU third parties can participate at all, right?
We just want to check with the Commission, so we will be back to you, Dimitri, about this question. I suspect that they can. I suspect that they can if they bring their money. I think Jolanta agreed on that, but we just want to check with the Commission.
Okay, and it's also important to know whether their contribution, which is non-paid by Pianoforte, becomes part of the budget, which I hope it's not, but...
But I think it should be included. But again, we have to check all these points. We'll be back to you. That's the same. That's the same situation that we have with associated partners. If we have a group from Norway or from UK, their cost will be included in the limit. So by similarity, we should be fair and we should apply the same rule.
But then it actually limits. It limits the amount of money we can attract in the form of in-kind.
Yes, correct. But that's the rule that was decided.
Okay, and the last question, in this case, is there any formal agreement required if they're not if they're not asking any money from Pianoforte? Do they still have to have a collaboration agreement?
In fact, I did not talk about this, but all the participants and entities participating in a project will have to sign their own consortium agreement. This consortium agreement will need to be coherent and with the consortium agreement, the Pianoforte consortium agreement. But yes, there will be an agreement between all the parties which are participating in the same project. And this consortium agreement will need to be written and all the procedure built by the coordinator of the project.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dimitri. Casper Anderson.
Thank you. My question is whether it's possible for a non-EU organization who is a Pianoforte partner to coordinate a project.
That would be strange, but
yes, I agree. But
I don't know what my colleagues think about that. Jan, Yolanta, do you have a
Then once again the question, because if it's the Pianoforte organization, so it has to be beneficiary or affiliated entity, and
So
it's
if
not
it-
EU party, because I
And not-
so
yeah.
I don't know if it was possible.
Sorry?
I don't know even if it was possible while creating the consortium. Because we have associated partners.
Yes.
It could be an
Is
associated
the
partner.
associated partner? If it's associated partner, so associated partner can be the project coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's written in the context.
Yeah. But in any case, I would recommend to avoid this kind of situation just to simplify administration. If you could avoid, that would be great.
Yes, because
Thank you.
I'm not sure that we think about this when negotiating the funding agreement. And in fact, to be participant, in theory, you have to be in one of the categories that I mentioned before. So you need to be an associated partner, at least. If we understood properly what the EC want, but still we need to check this point regarding non-EU entity.
Thank you. Esther Orlandi.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I have a question about the external entity. Because I saw here in the 2.3 consortium composition that there should be at least one external entity. So this external entity, then how can we, in the Annex 1, we see new participant integrated to the Pianoforte through the open call, affiliated entities, associated partner, third party, subcontractors, and recipients. So this external entity that should be inside the consortium is indeed the associated partner, or how can we see this entity into the annex? Where is it? I cannot find it.
Yolanta or Jan or Marine.
I think it's the question to Marine, but it's actually written that this third party, this external entity, if it fits to one of these listed categories, may participate in the project.
Okay, so it should be, it's an external entity that should fit into one of these categories. So
Yes.
affiliated,
Yes.
associated, third party, subcontractors, or recipients.
Yes.
Okay.
For this,
Discuss this point with the EC, and it seems that to be able to participate, but I don't know if you want to see a grant agreement, but we are using the rules of the grant agreement. There is a list of categories and you have to fit in there, I think. And yes, an external entity will be a third party, more or less.
A third party. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Spiros, do you want to ask a new question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that was triggered by something that was said before. Who is the beneficiary of a third party given in kind contribution? I understood that beneficiaries have affiliated entities, but third parties, who is the beneficiary of a third party given in kind contribution?
Mine.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
A first party, there is no legal link, but I think I am going to check the grant agreement. It is written in the grant agreement that a third party is, in all cases, linked more or less, I don't know what word to use, to a beneficiary. So if you want to have a third party, one of the beneficiary of the project need to step up and decide to be the beneficiary of the third party.
Just to declare that I am the beneficiary, without having any to submit some document that the legal. Okay, and then the funds will go through him, through the beneficiary, to the. Okay.
It is for this that we have written in the code text that sometimes you can have beneficiaries which are not going to participate in the project. They are going to declare zero for their cost, but since they are going to have affiliated entities or third parties, they are mentioned in the project. It is a little bit strange, but these are the rules of the EC. They have decided that in the funding agreement, we need to have this beneficiary, even if he is declaring no cost, because it's affiliated entities or third parties or subcontractor, affiliated entities or third party is going to participate in the project. I know it is very strange, but we don't have any power on this.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Isabelle?
Good morning. Thank you very much for the presentations. Probably these questions have already been done, but there's so many people asking and replying. The first one is if an institution can, like a consortium of institutions in the country, can present itself like one institution.
I think you need to have a legal person.
This is one question.
You have to be a legal person,
so,
I think, because I don't know, in fact, because we have some platform like Share, but they are association, I think, no?
Yes, correct.
Yes,
yeah.
Because you have to be liable, because at the end, the beneficiary is always liable towards the granting authority, so you have to have, I think, a legal consistency, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. The other one is you talk about coordinators of project, and another thing is principal investigators, researchers, which I think are the coordinators of tasks. Is that?
Yolanda?
What is the main difference between the?
So actually, the principal investigator is like the coordinator for the participating organization, I would say. Yes. So
yes.
They have like the people to talk to each other. Let's say yes, they're like the main. No, sorry, it's wrong expression. But like to have a person nominated for each organization to be addressed in the first line.
Okay, just another question and I finish. It's about, sorry, it's about work previously done in to establish Pianoforte, and there were work package already established, and there were contacts. Are these contacts still available for to write projects, or that part of the collaboration is finished?
I'm not sure that I understand your question. In Pianoforte, you have two teams of two types of activity. On one side, you have work packages that are established right now, and it's ongoing, with the beneficiaries of the consortium. And on the other side, you have the call. And with this call, you can participate to Pianoforte. And that's it. These are the two ways. If your question is, could you now be part of the consortium for the work that are done in the other work package? Let's say work package 2, 3, 4, or 5. No, at this stage, it's finished because the budget has been established at the beginning of the project and we cannot change it. So the only way to be part of the consortium is now to apply to a project and to be selected, and you will be part of Pianoforte for your own project.
Okay, with other 2 or 3 partners at least from different countries.
Yeah, correct. Esther,
thank you very much.
Hello again. So I think you just answered my question. So the 3 legal entities needs to be from 3 different countries, right? And then the associated or the affiliated entity could be, for example, we are from Italy, we have an affiliated entity from Italy, and then we have a consortium with France and Spain. That's okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, but you need to have one entity which is not part of the present consortium.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I have still one hand. Zelishka, you want to ask another question or no? Because you already asked one. Okay, I have no more question. Do you have any other question to ask us? In any case, you have the possibility to contact either Jolanta or IRSN. Igor want to ask a question. Igor.
This person, can I ask you please a question if there are any requirements about minimal number of beneficiaries in the consortium?
The minimum
beneficiaries in the consortium. So it can be one beneficiary. It can be one beneficiary only, or you should. And 3 legal entities. And 3 legal entities.
I don't know if I understand well your question. What we need is to have at least 2 beneficiaries.
At least 2 beneficiaries.
At least 2 beneficiaries.
Okay.
And 1 external entity.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Very clear answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I don't know if there are. Marine, want to say something?
Yes, perhaps to answer the last question in the chat regarding third parties. So for Thierry Schneider, yes, a beneficiary have a legal and financial responsibility regarding its third parties and affiliated entities. It is in the grant agreement. The beneficiary is always liable towards the EC. I'm going to say it. And there is another question regarding affiliated entities and the legal link. I think, but still it is the EC which is going to approve or not the status that a signed agreement between the faculty and the Pianoforte beneficiary would be a valid agreement. But it depends on your agreement, what's inside. If it is a commercial agreement, I'm not sure it's going to work. But if it is a collaboration agreement, it may work. So if you have questions, we can still ask the EC, but the list of documents acceptable is quite large, in fact. There is no list, but we saw in other projects that a lot of documents have been accepted.
Okay, I think there are many questions on the chat. I don't know if you have time to go, but perhaps one about for Jan. Question about the money flow. When the beneficiary transfers the money to affiliated entity, is the VAT excluded from the payment? The national VAT should not be charged for transferring money from beneficiary to affiliated entity. Am I right?
In fact, about the VAT, the national VAT should not be charged for transferring money from. I'm not sure of this point. Maybe we could answer into a document Q&A answer. I will prepare an answer later.
Okay.
So I'm not sure of this point. Sorry.
Okay. There is a general question by Perco Tanja. Could you kindly justify why the Pianoforte management decided the rules that non-EU partners' contribution should be included in the full budget? I would say that it has not been decided by the management. It has been proposed by the management to the General Assembly. It has been endorsed by the General Assembly. The general idea is that we should compare comparable things. If we consider a given project, it will be very difficult to compare a project with 1.5 million total budget and another project with a 4 million budget. I think in terms of evaluation, it would be very complex. So we need to have some kind of equality or fairness between all the projects to be able to have a correct evaluation. So there is a question by Andre. Yolanta mentioned gender as a factor that must be considered, but it is not mentioned in the call documents. How should gender be considered? It's a question by Yolanta. I think it's a general EC rule.
Yes, but it's not gender as eligibility. It's not gender as a criterion for the evaluation. It's gender equality plan as a requirement from the European Commission to have such a plan in the institution. It's like the requirement from the work program. I would say it's global, so I would expect that each public institutions, public bodies already introduced this gender equality plans already.
I have a specific question. Do the membership to SHARE, which is the Social Science and Humanity platform, give the possibility to participate as a partner in a consortium?
I'm sure that this membership can give you the right to be considered as an affiliated entity.
Yeah, I think that it is the question behind.
I think, I don't know what you have signed, but I think it happens for ERSN with another kind of platform, but you need to have signed some kind of status or something to be a member of SHARE, I suppose. So I think, but still, it is not my decision. It is the decision of the EC that you may be considered as an affiliated entity.
Okay, what I suggest is that I check this point with the Commission, and we will put that on the website. I will provide the answer in the website. If I remember well, in the case of concert, I think the membership was to a platform was recognized by the Commission, but I don't want to say wrong thing, so we need to check.
And regarding the status of affiliated entities, because there is another question, if an agreement can be just for the specific proposal, we will also check with the EC. I don't know if it is sufficient to declare a legal link or not.
Okay, I am checking some There is a question about the sailing of 300,000 euro or 100,000 euro. Is it total budget or EU funding? If I remember well, but my colleagues will say if I am wrong, I would say that this is the EU contribution. Is that correct?
Yes.
Jan or Marine or Yolanta?
Yes, this is the EU contribution, and you have a sailing. It will depend on the global EU contribution, but there is a sailing of 300,000 euro or 100,000 euro. Yes.
Yeah, for EU contribution.
For EU contribution, yes.
Yeah, correct.
The 63% of the rate of 63% is also applicable to third parties.
Okay. Okay, so I think we went through most of the question. So I don't know if one participant want to ask a very last question. So if it's not the case, I want to thank you all. And first of all, I would like to thank Yolanta, Jan, and Marine for providing their nice presentations. So if you have any type of questions, do not hesitate to contact us. I think it's very important that we have a lot of projects and a lot of good projects to be evaluated. Do not forget that the deadline is 12 or 13. I don't remember right now.
12, the 12th.
The 12th.
It should be Wednesday. The middle
Wednesday,
of the week.
12th July. Thank you again for your participation to this webinar, and have a nice day. Thank you.